Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about the kettlebell half get up to knee pass. This video is part of a big series of videos where we are teaching kettlebells one step at a time so people could start with video one and learn kettlebells in order at home. This is in an effort to expand exercise education so that people can get world-class training without having to travel or pay a ton of money for it. We have been working on the Turkish Getup. Turkish Getup is getting up or down off of the ground with weight. If you start at the top, it's Turkish Get Down. If you start at the bottom, it's a Turkish Get Up. We have been working on the middle part. The middle part is the hardest for most people because it requires what's called a hip pass. The hip pass is the hardest because it requires a lot of different movements that people are not used to because they live in the modern world, which is convenient, and we mostly sit down in the modern world. By learning this basic movement pattern, you will restore a lot of function of your core that everybody should possess, regardless of age, regardless of whether or not they play a sport. This exercise should not be limited to any one group. It should be for absolutely everybody, no matter what. Get down to the ground any way you want, 2 sits bones flat on the ground. The important part is how we pick up the kettlebell. If we pick up the kettlebell well, we are less likely to hurt our shoulder. Therefore, we are likely to get what we want out of training. If you're using a mat, slide yourself to one side. The goal is to have your base foot and your hand both on the same mat so that you cannot push the mat away from you. Roll your kettlebell up to the height of your elbow when you're laying down. Lay down, the height of your elbow, get your kettlebell in place. Take the L of your hand to the L of the kettlebell, palm facing towards the sky. Other hand, roll over. Grab the hand, pull it close to you so that your hand is directly in front of your solar plexus. Roll, change legs. Same side, same leg. If you need to adjust to get your base leg and your base hand on the mat, do that. Press to elbow lockout. Hold the elbow lockout the entire time. Roll to the side. Drive your elbow into the ground. Lift up, hand. Turn your body to look at the high hand. Keeping your eyes on the kettlebell is very important. If you look away from it, you do weird things to your shoulder and it gets a lot less strong the more you look away. Drive your arm straight up towards the sky. Lift your hip up. Bring your knee back to the line of your hand. Roll your eyes towards the kettlebell. Turn your body towards the bell. Sit back down any way you want. Lift your hip up. Bring your knee all the way back to the line of your hand. Drive both arms straight. Lift the knee up. Sit through, sit the hip down. Drive up, sit back through, eyes on the bell, sit through, come all the way down. Do not bend your elbow. We're going to return back down to the ground. Elbow touches the ground, shoulder touches the ground, shoulder touches the ground. Now, elbow touches the ground. Change legs. Other hand comes across. Grab. Turn towards the bell to keep the bell in front of the center of your body where your shoulder is strongest. Now let's demonstrate it with the other hand, but my body in the same orientation, so my body will be rotated towards the camera. Get down to the ground any way you want. Don't slam your head into the ground. The L of our hand goes to the L of the kettlebell. Other hand, grab the hand, pull it in, kettlebell in front of the chest. Roll back flat on the ground. Arm at 90 degrees, arm at 0 degrees. Break the difference. If you need to adjust, adjust. Change legs. Same side, same leg. The weight is in the same hand as the bent leg. Press to lockout. Drive the rib cage down, squeeze the abs. That'll bring your head up off of the ground. Squeeze the tricep as hard as you can. The opposite hand at 0 degrees, 90 degrees, break the difference, 45 degrees. Roll to the side, eyes up on the bell. Drive up to your elbow, Pause. Drive your chest forward. Up to the hand. Drive both arms long away from your spine. Lift the hip up. Bring the knee all the way back to the line of the hand. Sit your hip all the way through. Look up at the bell. Make both arms straight. Hip up, knee back. Look at the kettlebell harder. Knee up, sit through. Make both arms straight. Lift up, knee all the way back to the line of the hand. Knee up, sit all the way through. Eyes up the entire time, both arms straight. Elbow touch, shoulder touch, hand down. Other hand comes across, change legs, roll to set the bell down. The hard part of the exercise is bringing the knee back to the line of the hand. When we are in our half get up position, this heel stays flat on the ground the entire time. Move your body around if you have to keep that heel down. If that heel is lifting up, you can do it. It just gets less efficient over time and it works less well with heavy weights. Think about what we're talking about here as introductory technique. We are lifting the hip up as high as you need to get the knee back. You will see more advanced practitioners lifting their hip really high up. But in the beginning, that can be hard for a lot of people. So just get the hip off of the ground enough that you can bring the knee back. Knee goes back to the line of the hand. That means this will be about 90 degrees. This will be about 90 degrees. So that we will be in a strong position to stand up if we were to complete the exercise. Hand in the same line. If we only bring our knee back part of the way, you can see that this is going to be a much harder position to get out of because we won't be able to use our lead leg to drive up as effectively. The whole point of this drill is to help us learn to go from straight leg to knee all the way back to all the way out. This exercise is working from the ground up to the midpoint of the Turkish get-up. The previous video in this series worked from the top down, from standing down to this hip transition. We work on everything from both sides because the more ways we learn it, the more likely we are to figure out how to do it correctly. We can always take big physical skills and break them down into small pieces and train them from either side of the movement. That allows us to understand it better so that we can get more of what we want out of training faster. There are a bunch of bodyweight versions of this exercise as well, and athletes, everybody, should work on all versions. Top down, bottom up, body weight, with vest, with weight, with everything. Getting up and down off of the ground is a basic human skill and everybody should be very good at it. Make sure that if you're doing this version, that you are working to do an equal number of reps or an equal amount of time on each side of your body. If you're doing this exercise for time, try to eventually get the same number of reps with both sides of the body. That means that you would be rotating at the same rate on both sides of your body, which is what we want. We're looking to create balance in rotation and strength and movement patterns, no matter which hand you're using, no matter what side you're rotating. The goal is no good side.